Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. You know, yesterday I did a video by good old Jerry Ward, aka Junkie Ward. And immediately after making the video, some people came and said, you know, you need to see the video he made just this evening. He went off the deep end. It's just totally crazy. So I had to actually go check it out, and it did not disappoint. It was like a train wreck. I just couldn't look away. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Because, you know, he started the video off on a partially true premise. Actually, something that's very true. He said, you know, it's actually impossible to isolate a muscle. That is actually true. It is biologically impossible to isolate a muscle. Even if you lock yourself into a machine to where you can only move the one joint and you strap everything else down, you still contract a lot of other muscles, even if you're trying to just do a wrist curl or a bicep curl or a hamstring curl. You are actually recruiting other muscles, and in some cases, even an isolation movement can cause a little bit of growth in other muscles. They can in some cases do so, not all, but they do recruit muscle fibers through your whole body. In fact, the actual act of isolating a muscle, trying to isolate a muscle, can use up resources in your body. You can actually use up recovery ability. So they're not always as less taxing on your body as people think they are. That, well, you know, you can do more of these and you don't get as overloaded as you do squat or whatever else. So that's not necessarily always true. Not always true. So he's right on that. Now, he started to get a little crazy when he said if you tried to relax your body, if you really relaxed your body on a concentration curl, you would get injured. Like, how in the hell are you going to get injured on a concentration curl? You're using a weight that's that light. You're not going to get injured. Craziness. But then he went on to talk about how his clients, people always ask, why do his clients get such really fast results? And he says, because I have them do exercises, isolation movements that make their whole body grow. That's why my people just get such amazing results. And he basically was talking about calf raises and shrugs. His people get amazing results better than other people's clients because he has them do calf raises and shrugs. Because, no bodybuilding coaches have their clients do calf raises and shrugs. That's unheard of. Wow. That's totally, no one would ever thought of that. I've never seen a bodybuilder do shrugs and calf raises. It's like you got to wonder where he's coming from. That's like saying I've never seen a bodybuilder do a curl. Yeah, like every day at the gym you see bodybuilders and bikini competitors doing these things. It's kind of the norm. But he went to another whole crazy level with it. He jumps in and he's saying, because you have to stabilize all that weight on a calf raise on top of your body that releases so much growth hormone through your body that your whole body has to react. Let me see if I can imitate him. So what happens is that, and the science behind it is, when you're standing on there with all that weight up on top of your shoulders, you know, your body just releases all this growth hormone. It releases all this growth hormone, and it makes your body grow. Yeah, that level of crazy. No, calf raises don't make your whole body grow. And speaking of that, you guys notice that Cocoa Puff keeps growing on his head, and the bigger that Cocoa Puff gets, the crazier Jerry gets. I used to think it was just maybe his old drug use, but then I started to realize there's something going on with that Cocoa Puff on his head, because he just keeps sliding further off the deep end the more that thing grows. Like I've already said, I mean, I'm not even trying to be a dick about it. Like there's been points where I'm like, I know I make jokes about it, but I'm actually concerned that maybe he should go get that thing biopsied to make sure it's not malignant. Again, I don't think that'd be a bad idea, just to be safe. Because I mean, we can make jokes about people all that we want, but we also really and truly, I don't think any of us want to see an actual YouTuber die of cancer. Okay, that's not what anybody wants to see happen. Jerry, is that thing growing on the side of your head sending you telepathic messages? Like, is it telling you calf raises make your body release growth hormone and make you grow? Because you do know the science doesn't actually agree with any of that. the studies looking at it, the meta-analysis looking at hormone release from training actually shows that there's no correlation between muscle growth and the amount of HGH or testosterone you release during or post-workout. Cortisol was associated with more muscle growth. Because again, the harder you train, the more cortisol you release, and training harder is usually some associated with more muscle growth. There's some overlap there. So there was a correlation there, but not with HGH or testosterone at all. There's been found to be no correlation between the amount of muscle you grow and the release of those hormones around your training window. Doesn't happen. So you got to wonder, is that thing sending you telepathic messages, Jerry? In fact, I feel like there's another YouTuber that I should call in to help here. As there's a guy called Nether Beast who made a video calling me out. I didn't even watch the whole thing. Made a video calling me out. Really small channel. I don't normally do this, but I feel like he's the only person who could help in this case. Because, you know, he's got his own weird way of doing things, and I didn't want to make a video about him, and it's weird that people think I did. I didn't make a video. And I normally wouldn't mention a channel this small, particularly one that's called me out. But some people showed me some other stuff, and I found out he's made other videos on another channel. He's also called Twisting Nether. And if you guys look around, not that long ago, in the last year or two, he's made videos. And it's easy enough to find. Just look for Twisting Nether and Reptilians on YouTube. He's made videos discussing all of his life experiences dealing with different alien species, that he's part of something called the Galactic Awareness, and that he's had a lot of experiences with different alien races as part of being a member of this Galactic Awareness, that he's interacted with reptilians, with lion people, with mantis people. So he is the YouTube fitness resident expert on aliens. Now, Twisting Nether, the reason I'm going to address you here is because since you are the foremost expert in the YouTube fitness community on alien races, I'm thinking maybe you can help Jerry with this, because I'm wondering if that thing on the side of his head that's giving him these telepathic messages, telling him that calf raises make the whole body grow, telling him that eating all meat diets, because I know you're a vegan, he's been saying for a few years now that eating all meat diets is the best way to lose fat, just straight ketogenic diets, just all red meat, and that it's healthy and that's the way to go. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of alien presence in there, that if that's some sort of implant or some sort of alien that has some sort of symbiotic relationship with him and is burrowing into his brain, sending him these messages. And maybe you're the one fitness YouTuber who could help him. Maybe you need to reach out to him and see if you can help him with your skills and your knowledge base there, because I don't know this for a fact. At first I thought it was a big tumor, but I'm starting to suspect there's something else going on here. And if anybody can get to the bottom of it and figure this out and maybe help Jerry here, keep this thing from giving him crazy messages, maybe you can get on a better diet, because I might not like ketogenic diets and I might not like vegan diets, but I would never tell anybody to eat an all-meat diet. Okay, that's just crazy. So maybe you can help him out. Maybe you can help him out. But back to the other thing, you know, we're talking about these calf raises. Wait a minute, we can help another fitness YouTuber here, Omar Issoff. Because Omar is strong, does all these big compounds, but he's on team no calves, right? It's like, I can't get my calves to grow. Because people ask me, Jason, what do you do for your calves? I'm like, squat and deadlift, because I've got like 18-inch calves, and they're pretty lean. Even when I get fat, my calves stay lean and ripped. It's ridiculous. I can't explain it. It shouldn't work that way, but it does. But I have that, and I tell people that, and then they get mad. They're like, well, how come Omar Issoff doesn't have calves? Well, you know, Omar's big everywhere but his calves. Maybe if he tried Jerry's method and maybe did nothing but calf raises for about 6 weeks, like every day, just calf raises, maybe like Bugenhagen style, the way Eric Bugenhagen comes in and will train the same lift until he plateaus on it. You know, it actually does work for some advanced lifters. I'm not going to knock Eric for that, because there is actually some methodology behind that. Maybe since calf raises make your whole body grow, if Omar just did nothing but calf raises like Bugenhagen style every day for maxes, that his whole body would grow along with his calves. Now, Jerry said the calf raises will make your whole body grow. So if you do that, maybe your squats will go up. So people say, well, why wouldn't that work? You're loading it on your back. Why are you making fun of this? Don't you promote backloading and axial loading exercises for muscle mass? Yes, I do, but here is the difference. Squats and deadlifts involve a hip hinge. They involve a hip hinge. When you load your body under a hip hinge, your entire thoracic lumbar sling gets activated and contracts. That includes your glutes, your spinal erectors, your lats, your traps. All of those muscles are forced to contract. And when you think about that, a barbell squat involves the entire thoracic lumbar sling because there's a hip hinge, and then your torso comes down and you have to stabilize it on the way up, and then the glutes have to contract as part of the hip hinge. And as the glutes contract in the hip hinge with the weight loaded up, it does contract very hard, and it can cause muscle growth through all of those muscles, in addition to all the muscles of your core, your abs, your obliques, and then obviously, again, the primary movers like the quads, the glutes, and the hamstrings, depending on how you squat, can get a greater or lesser degree of activation also. So yes, you are talking about at least 80% of the muscle mass through the whole body, if not more, can directly grow as a result of a barbell squat. But it's because of the compound nature of the lift, and it's because of the muscles that are forced to contract to move that weight and stabilize it due to the multiple joints that are involved. There is no hip hinge involved. There is no knee joint involvement or any of that in a calf raise. It's just dorsiflexion. It's just your ankle. So no, those muscles only have to stabilize a little bit of weight on top of you. And once you're in the locked out position, like even a deadlift isn't difficult in the locked out position. That's been noted. There have been people who stood there and looked around or have carried on conversations while hitting their maxes, like extreme maxes in powerlifting meets. It's been done. There were people who stood there with like 900 pounds at the lockout and just looked around and chilled for a few seconds. Because once you're locked, that stress isn't the same. It's not the same as having to dynamically stabilize all of that with your back when there's a hip hinge involved. It's totally different because once you're locked out, it's actually really, really easy. That's the reason you see a lot of guys who even do all this lockout work. They go to lock out a deadlift that you think they should be able to lock out, and it turns out they can't because they can't get to the lockout. The hardest part is before you're locked out. Once you're actually locked out, it's really easy, but you have to get there. And in that case, it's just not that hard to maintain a really heavy weight in that position. And so we get over to that point of just a calf raise. Even if you've got 600 pounds sitting on your shoulders on a calf raise, it's not the same stress that you would get squatting or deadlifting 600 pounds. It's not even remotely the same stress. Like you would actually need to really stress those muscles. You would probably need well in excess of 1,000 pounds sitting on your shoulders in a calf raise. And even then, you're still not getting the movement required to engage all those muscle fibers. It's really easy to hold yourself in a locked out position with an insanely heavy weight without getting any muscle growth from it. So yeah, this is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is what it is, though. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.